Now that we've gone through a bunch of SOHCAHTOA, we're going to be working with triangles that aren't right triangles. So, the first one is called law of sine. And I'm going to show you guys where this comes from first. So say we have a triangle that does not have a right angle. But we knew this side and we know this side. And then traditionally we always put the angles as capital letters opposite of the small letters. Now the trick here is we're going to be actually dividing this into two right triangles by dropping what's called the altitude. Now if you imagine just the left side of this triangle here, you can actually set up a SOHCAHTOA, and let's just call this for h for now, for the height. So on the left side it would be sine opposite over hypotenuse. Sine of A equals h over b. On the other side you're going to do the same thing. It'd be the sine of b, but in this case it'd be opposite over hypotenuse, which would be h over a. Now I can rewrite these. I multiply by b on both sides. I get this. On the right side, same thing. And there. I have two things that are equal to h. So if I set them, I can actually set them equal to each other. Okay, so what we can do now is divide by a on this side, divide by b on this side, but you're dividing both sides by it. So divide this by ba, divide this by ab, same thing. The b's are going to cancel, the a's are going to cancel. And here is the law of sines. Okay, so we don't even need to have the h. We have a relationship for any kind of triangle, triangles even without right angles. So here's my first example. It's not a right triangle. Let's say that this is 60 degrees, this is 80 degrees, and we have 12 over here. We want to know x. Now the important point here is that you look for pairs across from each other on the triangle. It doesn't matter whether they're A or B. The idea is that the angle should be over the side. So I'm going to do, for green here, sine of 80 all over the opposite side. And I'm going to do sine of 60 all over the opposite side. Now you work this out on your calculator by cross multiplying. And your x should be 10.553. But let me show you a trick here. You can cross multiply and then divide by the lonely guy. So really it's going to be sine of 60 times 12 divided by sine 80. And that's just a quick way to solve proportions. If you ever have like 12 over 3 equals 5 over x, cross multiply 15 divided by the lonely guy would be 15 over 12 equals x. It's just a quick way to figure out those proportions. So I'm going to write it sine of 60 times 12 all over the sine of 80 equals x. And I've worked this out. It should be about 10.553. And we can always just go to 3 decimal places and trig for good accuracy. Okay, another example. Example 2. Here we're going to have to go find an angle, not just another side. So say this is 40 degrees, this is 12, this is 8, and this is theta. Okay, we're going to do the same sort of setup. Sine of 40 would go over 12, and then sine of theta, even though we don't know it yet, is over 8. Now I'm going to cross multiply by multiplying by 8 on both sides. So this is going to be 8 sine of 40 all over 12 equals sine of theta. You have to do something different here. You have to actually do sine inverse to get theta alone. So in your calculator, you have to do 8 sine 40 all over 12 and then sine inverse it. Or you might be able to just plug it all in at once. When we do this, we get about 25.4 degrees. Okay, so you should try this. Here's a try problem. This one's a little trickier because you have to do something before you use the law of sines. You should pause the video and give it a try. The trick here is that we need to find this angle. And if you know anything about triangles, adding up the three sides should equal 180. So we're going to take 180 minus 70, which is 110, and then minus 32 more. So carry the 1, that's 8. The last angle up here is now 78. Why did we have to do that? Well, this is an angle side pair, but 70 does not line up with anything on the other side, and 12 doesn't either, but we could find this to get another angle side pair. So this is going to be sine of 78 all over 12, and this is sine of 32 all over x, and I'm going to cross multiply, divide by the lonely guy. So what I'm really working out is 12 times the sine of 32 all over the sine of 78. Okay, I'm coming up with an answer of 6.501.